The warm morning sun spilled across the crowded downtown bakery as people hurried in to pick up birthday cakes, fresh bread, and coffee before work. Laughter filled the little shop until a young woman quietly stepped away from the display counter after realizing she didn't have enough money to pay for the smallest birthday cake. Embarrassed, she gently asked the cashier to cancel the order and prepared to leave with a forced smile hiding the tears in her eyes. Before anyone could react, a tired-looking single father standing behind her reached into his nearly empty wallet, counted 3 worn dollar bills, and placed them on the counter. It was the last cash he had until payday, but he simply smiled and asked the cashier to let the young woman celebrate her birthday. She thanked him with watery eyes before disappearing into the busy streets. What the kind father never imagined was that she was the billionaire CEO who had rejected his $10 million clean energy proposal only 3 days earlier without ever meeting him in person. By sunset, that simple $3 birthday cake would change both of their lives forever. Before this unforgettable story continues, if you believe kindness, honesty, and second chances still exist in today's world, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes good deeds always find their way back, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise. Your support helps us continue creating emotional stories that inspire hope and remind us that the smallest acts of compassion often create the biggest miracles. The single father's name was Nathan Holloway. 4 years earlier, he had lost his wife, Claire, after a long illness, leaving him to raise their 9-year-old son, Liam, completely on his own. Before Claire passed away, she encouraged Nathan never to abandon the renewable energy invention they had dreamed about together. Working late at night after repairing heating systems all day, Nathan slowly developed a compact solar storage device capable of providing affordable electricity to remote communities. Every spare dollar he earned went toward improving the project instead of buying new clothes or replacing the aging pickup truck he drove each day. Believing his invention could genuinely improve lives, Nathan spent 2 years preparing a proposal for Hawthorne Dynamics, one of the world's largest clean energy companies. The proposal requested $10 million in development funding, not for personal wealth, but to manufacture affordable units for underserved communities. Weeks after submitting his application, he received only a brief rejection email explaining that the project failed to meet the company's current investment priorities. Although disappointed, Nathan quietly accepted the decision. He had learned long ago that life often closes one door before opening another. The young woman whose birthday cake he had purchased was Vivica Sterling, founder and chief executive of Hawthorne Dynamics. Brilliant, disciplined, and admired across the business world, Vivica rarely reviewed every investment proposal herself because thousands arrived each year. Trusted executives handled the first stages of evaluation, rejecting most applications before they ever reached her desk. That morning had been her birthday, yet she deliberately left behind her security team and expensive chauffeur to spend a few quiet hours alone. After years of corporate success, she found herself strangely lonely. The forgotten bank card inside her other handbag had left her standing helplessly before the bakery counter with only a few coins in her pocket. Nathan never recognized her. To him, she looked like an ordinary young woman having an unexpectedly difficult birthday. As he walked home with Liam carrying a loaf of discounted bread instead of the groceries they originally planned to buy, father and son laughed together about how birthdays deserved cake no matter who was celebrating. Liam proudly told his father that his mother would have done exactly the same thing. Nathan smiled quietly, believing the $3 had been well spent even if it meant another simple dinner at home. Meanwhile, Vivica could not stop thinking about the humble father who had helped a complete stranger without expecting thanks or recognition. Instead of returning directly to her office, she asked one of her assistants to identify him using the bakery's security footage. Later that afternoon, a simple report arrived on her desk. The man's name was Nathan Holloway. As she continued reading, one line suddenly caught her attention. Only 3 days earlier, Hawthorne Dynamics had officially rejected a $10 million renewable energy proposal submitted under the very same name. Curious, Vivica requested Nathan's complete application file. As engineers brought the documents into her office, she discovered something astonishing. The proposal had never reached her. It had been dismissed during the first review because one executive believed the inventor lacked commercial experience and sufficient financial backing. Yet as she carefully examined Nathan's research, technical drawings, and field test results, she realized the invention possessed extraordinary potential. Even more remarkable was the realization that the man who had spent his final $3 buying a birthday cake for a stranger had never mentioned his own struggles or asked for anything in return. Unable to ignore what she had discovered, Viveka quietly instructed her driver to prepare the car. She wasn't heading to another board meeting or investor presentation. Instead, she wanted to meet the single father whose kindness had accomplished something no business report ever had. It reminded her that the greatest investments are often found not in perfect resumes, but in extraordinary character. Before you begin, here is. The morning sunlight poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Hawthorne Dynamics as Nathan and Liam stepped nervously into the executive conference hall. Instead of another rejection, they found the company's senior engineers, directors, and investors standing respectfully beside the long conference table. Viveka Sterling welcomed them with a warm smile and asked everyone to remain seated. Then, in front of the entire board, she admitted that the company had made a serious mistake. Nathan's proposal had not been rejected because it lacked value, but because the review process had failed to recognize the brilliance of an inventor who didn't have expensive credentials or powerful connections. She explained that a man who would spend his last $3 to make a stranger smile was exactly the kind of person she wanted leading projects that could improve millions of lives. The room fell silent as Viveka placed a new contract on the table. This was not the same investment Nathan had originally requested. Instead of offering $10 million for the rights to his invention, Hawthorne Dynamics proposed a partnership. Nathan would remain the owner of his technology, lead its development alongside the company's engineering team, and receive the funding needed to manufacture affordable solar storage systems for remote communities. The company would also establish a scholarship in Claire Holloway's memory for young inventors dedicated to solving humanitarian challenges through innovation. Nathan could barely speak. For years he had imagined receiving approval for his project, but he had never expected anyone to honor the dream that he and Claire had built together. Looking at Liam, he realized that his son was witnessing something far more important than financial success. He was watching honesty, patience, and compassion being rewarded in ways neither of them could have imagined. Nathan quietly signed the agreement, not because it promised wealth, but because it gave his late wife's dream a chance to change the world. Over the following year, the partnership transformed thousands of lives. Compact solar systems reached isolated villages, mountain communities, and disaster recovery areas where reliable electricity had once seemed impossible. Schools stayed open after sunset, medical clinics preserved life-saving medicines, and families who had lived in darkness for generations finally had dependable power. Every unit carried a small inscription inspired by Claire's handwritten note: "Leave the world brighter than you found it." Liam also discovered a new future for himself. Inspired by his father's perseverance and Viveka's belief in second chances, he developed a passion for engineering. After school, he visited the research laboratory where scientists treated him not as the owner's son, but as a curious student eager to learn. Viveka often smiled as she watched Nathan and Liam working together, realizing that the greatest success of the project was not measured in profits or headlines but in the hope it inspired across generations. On the first anniversary of their meeting, Hawthorne Dynamics hosted a celebration for employees and community leaders. During the event, Viveka told the story of the little bakery where everything had begun. She held up 3 $1 bills framed inside a glass case and explained that they represented the most valuable investment she had ever received. Those $3 had reminded her that the strongest companies are built not only on innovation, but on integrity, kindness, and the courage to believe in people before the world recognizes their worth. The audience rose in a standing ovation as Nathan and Liam embraced, knowing that one small act of generosity had created a future brighter than either of them had dared to imagine. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who still believes kindness changes lives, leave a heartfelt comment, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise for more emotional stories about hope, family, and second chances. Special request: please comment. A small act of kindness can change a lifetime. As the golden evening sun settled over the city, Nathan and Liam stood outside the company headquarters watching the lights glow from the offices where Claire's dream had finally become reality. Nathan realized that losing $10 million had never truly been his greatest fear. Losing faith in doing the right thing had been. In the end, the $3 he spent on a stranger's birthday cake became the greatest investment of his life, proving that kindness always returns in ways no one can ever predict.